with one consent.
So they are all in agreement to let's destroy that nigga. Let's destroy that black man. Let's destroy that Latino man.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom. This is the number one enemy of God, the so-called white man.
And the Ishmaelites.
The Ishmaelites are the so-called Arabs today.
Right.
Read.
Of Moab.
Of Moab. That's the Chinese man.
Right.
Read.
And the Hagarenes.
The Hagarenes, the Hamites. These are the different enemies of God that conspired together to destroy you and your people.
That's right. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Every nation outside of the Israelites conspired to cut them off from being a nation. That's why you never knew that you was an Israelite. I always thought I was an African American or a Native American. Or our brothers thought they think that they're Mexicans, Latinos. They don't know about Israelites. They don't know anything about the nation of Israel because they have done a diligent research and a diligent task to remove that history from you. Read.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
The name of Israel is not in remembrance anymore. You fill out a job application, you don't see Israelite on the job application. It's removed from remembrance. Read.
They have consulted together with one consent.
So they are all in agreement to let's destroy that nigga. Let's destroy that black man. Let's destroy that Latino man.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
Let's push the most negative influences in their community. Let's push Cardi B. Let's push Megan Thee Stallion. Let's push Sexy Red, Sukiyana, Glorilla, Nicki Minaj. Let's push. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say. They're trying to push all these negative influences in our community. Because guess what? That music has spirits on it.
Right.
That you can directly look at the music and look at the community. It's a relationship there, right? It's a direct relationship. They go hand in hand because they influence us. Read.
They have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom. This is the number one enemy of God, the so-called white man. Read.
And the Ishmaelites.
The Ishmaelites are the so-called Arabs today.
Right.
Read.
Of Moab.
Of Moab. That's the Chinese man.
Right.
Read.
And the Hagarenes.
The Hagarenes are Hamites. These are the different enemies of God that conspired together to destroy you and your people.
That's right.
Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28 and verse 48. Read.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So who are enemies again? We just read it. The white man. Who else? The Arabs, the Chinese, the real Africans, the Hamites. Those are God's enemies. Those are also our enemies that God sent against us because we were disobedient unto Him. Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst.
So God said we will have to serve those same enemies in hunger. So if you want something to eat, where you got to go to get the food? Grocery store, right? Who owns the grocery store? Is it your people? No. If you want to go get some quick fast food, you want to go to the Panda Express. You know damn well your people don't own that. It's going to be your enemy that owns that. Read.
And in thirst.
And in thirst. So the water that comes out of the sky freely from God, guess what? You got to go to your enemy for it. Ain't that something? Tell me that we aren't cursed people. Read.
And in nakedness, and in want of all things.
So it says and in nakedness. So the clothes on the tag on the back of our shirt, more than likely, is going to say it's made in Taiwan, China, Turkey, whatever. We have to go to our enemies for clothing as well. Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he hath destroyed thee.
God was very specific. He said, your enemy, he said the black man's enemy was going to put a yoke of iron upon his neck. That is a historical fact. The so-called black men in America had yokes of iron on their neck. And who put that yoke of iron on their neck? It was the so-called white man.
That's right.
That is Bible history right there. That is historical facts. You can read it. You can Google it. It is a historical fact. Read. So, my brother, what's your name again? Daryl. So Daryl, knowing that because we didn't keep the commandments, these curses happen to us. So the question should be for you, what commandments can you start keeping? I'm saying, what commandment can you start keeping? I'm gonna help you out because we know that God put curses on us because we broke His commandments. So, knowing that, we should try to undo the curses or start keeping His commandments. So I'm gonna give you some commandments that you can start doing. Let's get Leviticus 21:5.
Leviticus 21 verse 5.
Bring it out.
They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard.
You see that? That's a commandment from God. He said we're not supposed to bald our heads or shave off our beards. Is that a hard thing to do? That's not a hard thing to do. See, that's one commandment that you can start keeping. All right, let's go to 1 Corinthians 11. So the Bible is a simple book, but we make it hard. God said His commandments are not grievous. So whenever we hear these laws of God, we should be like, wow, I want to do that. Because I know if I do that, it's gonna be a reward for me. Read.
1 Corinthians 11 verse 3.
Bring it out.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So God has a divine order. He said the head of every man is Christ. So who is your head? Christ. Christ is your head. Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
Who is the woman's head? The man. The man is the woman's head. Read.
And the head of Christ is God.
Who is God's head? Who is Christ's head? God. So that's the order. God, Christ, man, woman, children. Okay? Read.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
So whenever these scriptures are coming out in the Bible and you have your head covered, you are dishonoring your head. Which is who? Christ. So what you gonna do? Read it again for the brother.
1 Corinthians 11 verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
But you got something on your head, bro. What you gonna do? That's a commandment. There you go. Now you gotta keep it off. You gotta keep it off. Huh? Take it off. Take it off. Give this brother a hand, man. That's a simple commandment that you can start keeping. That wasn't hard to do. You shouldn't be ashamed of who you are, okay? God made you that way. You are made after the image of God, brother.
That's right.
You gotta take that highly. God made you to have a manly badge of dignity. That's a beard. You're supposed to grow your beard on your face, okay? Read that again.
1 Corinthians 11, verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
So you just applied that. Now this goes for our sisters. The next verse, read.
Verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head.
See that? So the man is supposed to uncover his head when the Bible is coming out. And the woman is supposed to cover her head when the Bible is coming out. If the woman's head isn't covered, who is she dishonoring? The man. She's dishonoring her Lord, her husband, her man. Ultimately, Christ.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, His word